Back here, Homebuilt Garage. Today we have a Volkswagen Jetta. This is a 2013, I believe, TDI. This thing locked up going down the road on a guy. I bought it pretty cheap. I already cut the serpentine belt. Engine still won't turn over. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the cover off, yank fuel lines, and pull injectors out and see if it'll rotate then. If not, it's probably going to end up needing an engine. Okay, so I got the cover popped off. I'm just going to get this little piece of foam out of here. So yank that out of the way. Try to yank this off there without destroying it. Probably could take the fuel line off first, but go ahead and get that out of the way. So now I'm going to take the fuel lines off. I'm going to be careful. Some of these systems do hold fuel pressure, and we're talking a lot of fuel pressure, and it'll cut through your skin. It's that high. So you got to be careful what you're doing. Make sure you're staying back away from the fuel line connector, at least until you have it completely loose and you know there's no fuel pressure in there. I'm not sure if these ones hold pressure. I don't think they do. Okay, so next step, just pull all the little clips off, go into the fuel injectors. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but anyways, there's a little lever there. Pop them off, pull them off, and then I'm going to go ahead and knock the fuel lines off and the fuel return. Alright, so it took me a few minutes to figure this out, but this piece here needs to slide up. You see I got this one off already. Slide that up, then pop the whole line up off. There we go. This guy will slide up, and then just grab a hold underneath. Oil and pull it up, and it pulls right up off there. So that's all there is to them. Alright, so I got all of them popped loose. So now, it's just a matter of knocking the lines loose. These are 17 millimeter. Again, some of these hold pressure. I don't believe these ones do, but always err on the side of caution with these common rail systems. Like right now I got that loose. I want to get the line completely loose. That way I know there's no pressure in it. I loosened it, not with the wrench. Now the line's nice and loose, so you know there's no pressure in there. And the way the rails are usually set up is there's one whole rail and all the lines are going out of it. So at this point, I'm good to go ahead and loosen these up by hand and not have to worry about getting fuel injected into my hand. We go ahead and grab some Ziploc baggies to put these in so they stay clean. So I believe once I get the fuel lines off, it'll be a matter of taking these Allens out the whole way across, because I'm going to pull all the injectors. And then hopefully the injector will pop out without any special tool. Not really sure. Never pulled injectors on one of these before. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark my fuel lines with a paint marker, just so I keep them in order. I don't know if these are one-time use or not. Honestly, I'm expecting this engine to probably need to come out anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and mark them. Now, another thing, when you're taking this nut off back here, you want to keep an eye on where your wrench is, because see, if I put that wrench like that and turn it, there's a good chance the top of my wrench is going to break that off. So I'm going to go ahead and use it this way and make sure I don't hit it. And that way you don't break your injector return off. I don't know if you can get them separate. I kind of doubt it. It's probably part of the injector, but something to keep an eye on when you're doing these things, and make sure you don't cause more issues than you already got. Okay, so it'd be nice if I had some caps to cap these off, but either way, just make sure you don't get any dirt in them things or any crud. They're going to get some in them, honestly, just from cracking the lines loose, the way they sit on there. What I usually do is just take them, hold them upside down once they're out, and spray them out with a brake clean, maybe some air. But you got to be careful even doing that you're not causing more problems. You can get them caps online and stuff, just a plug kit or whatever. That'd be nice to have. I do have a set, but unfortunately I do not have them at home with me. Okay, so these are just in Allen head, and these are a 4 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and knock these screws out, then hopefully pull the injectors out. We'll see here. Alright, so I got these all screws taken out. Then I pry up on this just a little bit. And you can actually take this thing and turn it. And then if you look down in there, you'll see little nuts. I believe, what I can see, them are crossing over and probably holding down the injector. So I think we have to take them out next. You gotta be careful though, because this is the actual inside of the engine in there. So if you drop that nut, it's going down in there and you're gonna have to find it. Okay, these are 10mm nuts. I got them off. Now what I'm gonna do is try grabbing a hold of this here, get some wiggle out of it, and pull up. I think I got it. Yep. And that's the injector out. These also I'm going to put in labeled bags or mark them so you keep them in order. Okay, so I got all the injectors pulled. We're going to try to put the jump start on this thing and see if it'll rotate over or not, or if it's still locked up. All right, moment of truth here. Not really think it's going to start or crank over, I'm sorry. But let's see. It's actually a good sign. So with the injectors out, it's cranking over. So that means I had a hydrolock issue. That may be cheaper than a whole engine. Sometimes. We'll see. Okay, so I have some sort of a hydrolock issue. And judging by what I'm seeing out here, it looks to me, I should have set cardboard over here. It's a good idea, because it'll tell you which cylinder it shot whatever fluid out of. I got a good splat there, and I'm going to say that's probably going to be number 3. Next steps to kind of get an idea of what kind of fluid it is. It kind of looks like oil, which would be kind of weird for a hydrolock. Usually you don't get oil on top like that unless possibly a turbo went or something with the PCV setup. But either way, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not the best thing to happen, but it's not the worst. The worst would be a rod through the block or a locked up crank. So this engine may be salvageable yet. We're going to take it a couple steps farther here and see what we find. All right, so I set a board over there, and that's lining up with number 3. So my issue is, in fact, in the number 3 hole. So it's kind of odd. I don't know. I got to do some research here and see what all it could be that it would only do that to the number 3 hole. I wouldn't think it would be a cracked piston or something, because it was hydrolocked, so there had to be, the piston had to be holding seal in order to hydrolock and not turn the engine over. So we'll see. I'm gonna do a little checking here, kind of look into the PVC system and the turbo, and see what else we could have going on here. Okay, being that this thing was hydrolocked, and it definitely seems like it is oil, I went and popped the intake pipe off. There's a lot of oil in there. I don't know how much you normally see in these. A lot of engines will have some oil in there. But I'm kind of suspecting maybe the turbo went. I'm going to have to probably pull the charge air pipe off and just get an idea how much oil's in it, and possibly pull the intake pipe off back there off the turbo and see if the shaft is broken. We'll go from there. I may actually throw the plug or the injectors back in this thing too and try firing it and see if I'm getting a lot of oil spraying out here. It wouldn't be really spraying out, I guess. It would just be kind of huffing out. But also, if I'm getting any kind of actual airflow coming out, that'll tell me the turbo's at least somewhat intact. Okay, so I went ahead, cleaned the injectors up, new seals, O-rings, and I reused my fuel lines. I started from number 4, 3, 2, 1. It seemed like that was going to be about the easiest way to get them on. I think you could do it other ways, but it's just easier to get to the nuts and everything. So I got my intake pipe off right here. I'm going to try to fire this thing up. see if I'm getting any boost pressure blowing out through there, and that'll kind of give me a little bit of an idea if the turbo is completely out of it. But I got a little oil in there. I know you will get some in these things, but it could be, at this point, it could be a turbo issue or the PCV issue. All right, so I got my injectors back in after taking them out and rolling the engine over with the starter and blowing, looked like a bunch of oil out of number 3 cylinder. I went ahead, cleaned them up, threw seals on, put them back in. Basically just trying to do a little more troubleshooting. I think we could have either a turbo issue or possibly PCV, throwing too much oil into the intake, but we're going to go ahead and fire it up. I'm not going to really leave it run long or anything. All right, we're going to try it again here. Let the battery charge a little more. It sounds like it might be trying. Picking up a little bit. Come on. There it is. She fired up. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off and see what happens. I don't want to run this real long because I want to change the oil filter. She's alive.
Honey.
Come on, bud.
Where have to put my drink?
You sit right there, bud.
Over here?
Yep.
Oh, wait.
So I went ahead, pulled this turbo inlet pipe off. Easiest way I found was to take that screw off so I can get a good look in there. And it's going to be hard to see. I don't know if I can get video. Let's try here. But you see the chunks taken out of the turbo. Yeah, turbo's kaput. See if I can get my hand in there without blocking. Yeah, it's kind of hard, but yeah, there we go. You see it's wobbling around. So I would say the turbo shaft broke, dumped oil. Hopefully the DPF isn't completely junk. We'll find out. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We went ahead, found our hydrolocked engine, and we found that the turbo caused it. So it's kind of a win. I got another turbo already. It's actually a couple days later. I'm closing this video out. Got a used one for $250 off a guy. I'm going to throw that on there. See how that turns out. I didn't want to go buy a new one. They're like $1,000 or so, and put that on there. Just find out the engine does have a mechanical failure due to the lack of oil, because it had to lose quite a bit to make it through the whole charge air system. But they are a pretty strong engine, so we're going to slap the turbo on. I'll probably do a separate video. Check the description for that one. Sooner or later I'll add it in. Anyways, if you didn't already, please like, follow, and subscribe. I appreciate all the subscriptions and any help I get through here with even likes and follows, everything else. It's greatly appreciated. Helps me a lot. Helps me keep motivated to keep putting these videos up, and hopefully these videos are helping you. Till next time, we'll see you, and stay safe.